I'm Katherine Hill. I'm lead crime analyst of the Chattanooga Police Department. And what we do is support our command, our mayor, you, ultimately, by mining all of the data that comes into that building. So I get into all of the 911 calls, I get into all of the reports, all of the arrest reports, all of the traffic incidents. I have a team of 4 analysts working every day. And in answer to some of that concern that came up, we pulled up from January to September all of what we call the Part 1 index crimes for the 37421 zip code and also for Council District 4. And what we did find is you do have some spikes, particularly in 37421. So we read every report to find out what kinds of trends you have, what are your real problems. One of the number one things we found is increased reporting of domestic violence. So I'm going to just quickly go through this handout you have. On the first page, you've got the maps. So you've got a difference between the reporting for District 4. It's a smaller area. Your numbers are higher in the 37421. I did make a reference of what our internal city police zones are by area. So you can see that this area here constitutes a large portion of our crime reporting of all of our incidents. There is a slide, this was meant to be a PowerPoint slide, and there's one on our citywide violence trends, because you do need to know that we've been hard at work with the focus against violent crime, and we have succeeded in driving down the shootings and the gang member involved shootings. One of the big contributing factors to that is the big RICO roundup. They're terrified of the federal prosecution and the kind of time that they will serve. So that and other measures that the police department has taken has driven down overall city violence. You've got an index crime January to September for 37421. You see a chart here in 2 different colors, and that's a list of your index crimes that we use to kind of measure what's going on. What are the problems in this area, in this city? And you'll see that you have increases. Robbery is up, murder is down, rape is up 300% in the 37421 district. Definitely wanted to read every one of those reports and find out what's going on over these last 2 years. Aggravated assault is up 31%. So total violent crime for this zip code is up 39%. That's a concern. That sets us off. That gets us started in identifying what are the trends, the patterns, what's happening. You will see the slide underneath that with a little line chart that September as a month, the trend was down. We watch month to month, year to year. We'll look at the same kinds of time, the same kinds of crimes, and see, are we trending down? Are we trending up? Do we need to get more patrol out in that area? And for September, the trend this year is down, and that's helpful. Now, the violent crime, only for 37421, I made a chart so that you could see that, yes, that orange line is higher than it was in 2017. There is a pie chart underneath. And what I did was had my whole team read these reports, primarily Todd Bannon, who's here with me, and I read every single one. I found some trends that are of concern, and we will be working with patrol, and then they'll go out, and our command will be addressing this, and they'll talk to you about how they're going to address these things that we make known to them. The business trend in shoplifting, out here, you are at the commercial center, and when a person has been caught shoplifting, they've gotten violent. So that is an issue that we need to look into. Motel violence, the aggravated assaults, 8% are motel. There are females fighting in ways they never did before. 8% of these aggravated assaults were females fighting females. You usually expect men to have contention, but it's female. The number one is 45% of your aggravated assaults are domestic violence. I am aware of the Family Justice Center. It is not always a bad thing to have a number rise in domestic violence because it's a very underreported crime. You want to see people reporting this. And that does bring me around to telling you the best thing you can do as our partner community, we are serving you, is to make reports. If something is stolen, report it. If you hear a sound you think is a gunshot, report it. I need that information. That's what helps me know what is happening in your area. Is there a series? Is there somebody we need to be concerned about? But we found out that the violence is not random. It's not something that's just going to randomly happen to you. It is something people known by other people. The persons shot out here, they knew one another. There was an accidental shooting, through negligence, and there was an attempted robbery of a person that was known and brought them into their lives, and there was an attempted robbery and a shooting. There was shooting of a known person, which was domestic violence related. So we know that there is a reason behind these. It's not random, it's not happening to just the public at large. When I looked at the rapes, it was very similar. Some things we do want to look at. 37% of your rapes were domestic violence. 21% was date rape. So there are clubs in this area. There are people who are going out to the clubs, and sometimes no still doesn't mean no. I think that will change, and there's also possibly increased reporting because of the Me Too movement. So we watch social movements, we watch what's happening in the community, and all of that contributes sometimes to increased numbers, which, as I say, if it was formerly an underreported crime, it's good to see the numbers go up. People are reporting and we can find out what's happened. We really did not find significant stranger rape. We found social media, Facebook contact, make certain that you watch your children's social media. And who are they meeting? 11% was statutory. And with the 37% domestic violence, it's increased reporting. Now, there is a violent crime trends noted between January and September, and I pulled both Council District 4 and zip code 37421. There is a rise in violent crime shootings, and the things I looked at: robbery, burglary, and shootings. All trended up in 37421 in that greater area, and down in Council District 4. So there is a downward trend. And I'm going to turn this over to Lieutenant Hickey, because he's the one that will take your questions, bring them to me, and help get the analysis. Thank you.
Give her a hand, give her a hand. Now, most of y'all probably didn't understand the words she was saying. I know, I understand. She gave you the book sense. I'm gonna give you the common sense, okay? When you look at this chart, the main chart you look at, January to September, this one, it's only a couple of numbers that should be alarming. The first number is that 300% for rape. Now, if we look at the numbers themselves, it went from 4 in 2017 to 16. There was a big, huge difference. That's why it increased 300%. But when we started looking at those rapes, we do have hotels. Things do occur in those hotels. The way they report it did change. Just because it says a rape occurred, don't necessarily mean we went through the whole process and something did happen at the end. A lot of times it didn't happen, but it still was reported initially as a rape. So those numbers, although they're high, there was no kind of a pattern at all. And that's what we was looking for, to see if it was the same type of person doing it, going throughout. Again, when you think of rape, we always think of someone coming to the house. A lot of these they were in hotels. So yes, the numbers increased, but they were in the hotel. The next number you see is the robberies. Now, if you all have been listening to TV, you should have heard that over the last couple of months, we've had several business robberies at our Family Dollars and our Dollar General stores. And we just caught one not too long ago. So yes, the numbers was increased, but these were some of the same people doing it over and over and over again. And of course, that Dollar General store on Shaliford Road, the one that just sits up there off by itself, it's always getting robbed because it's easy to rob and kind of get away. So some of those things, based on where the building, where the business is at, that's what's just going to happen. When I was growing up, some of you all remember, the convenience stores used to be called what? Stop and robs. Remember those? We used to call them that. Why? Because the way they were set up, people will go in, they'll stop, they'll rob it, and they'll keep going. And so the Family Dollars is kind of taking that place now where we're always trying to do better with Family Dollar, but that's just an easy target, okay? The aggravated assault, we talked about domestic aggravated assault. She mentioned the idea that it's reported more, but also FBI changed the characteristic on how we code it as well. Before, if you would choke a person, it wasn't considered aggravated. But now in 2018, that law changed to where if you just put your hands on the person's neck or the person said they couldn't breathe, it's already annotated by law that it is aggravated. So a lot of those was where they got into it, one person or the other got choked, there it went. And it had to be reported as aggravated domestic violence. Our numbers for domestic violence went way high, aggravated. And a lot of those, many of those, was because of the definition change. Questions? No, not you. Questions? Yes, ma'am.
Can everyone hear me?
No.
In those numbers, is sex trafficking included in any of those statistics?
I don't think this sex trafficking is included. Remember, when we kind of investigate those are a combination of people. That's not just Chattanooga. It's usually the county. It's some. She asked was the sex trafficking numbers in those, and I was saying no. They're not part of these particular numbers. Again, what we really was focusing on was the part one crimes, the violent crimes, and again. That's why I kind of went through that to kind of ensure you that yes, some violent crime has occurred, but it's really sporadic and there's no pattern to it. They're not coming into your neighborhoods and doing the raping and doing the aggravated domestic violence. These are things that's just occurring. And as we know, I just hope y'all understand that things are not going to get better because people just want to do what they want to do. And so as a community, we all have to work together to ensure that we are our brothers and sisters keepers. We got to look out for each other. Same way it used to be when we was all growing up. And we got away from that somehow or another as to where you go to your house and your next door neighbor go to their house and you don't even know who they are or what they do. And it's like, how is that? How do we live beside each other for all these years? Don't know nothing about it, don't know what's going on until something tragic happens. So we just got to get back to where we communicate, we talk, we participate in neighborhood watch associations so that we can do it as a community and quit trying to do it individually. Because police can't do it by ourselves. We can't. We are outnumbered. And if we don't have the help from you all, and if you all don't help yourselves, things are going to continue to get bad. That's just kind of how things go. But if we can all work together, build the bridges together, same as with education, now we are all in it. We all buying into it. We all are part of it. We take pride in it, and we can hold our heads up high. Other questions? Yes, sir.
Over the last 10 years, would you say the average crime rate of Chattanooga has stayed the same, gone up, or gone down?
It's based on what crime you're talking about. In this area code, I'll tell you our biggest crime is what? What's our biggest crime? Theft from motor vehicles. Remember we talked about that last time, how I said y'all just still want to trust everybody. You want to leave your car door open, you're going to go in your house and somebody going to come and open the door and go in there and get it. So in this area, as far as theft, shoplifting, theft from motor vehicle, auto theft, that's our most crime that occurs here. Those are the numbers. If we could get you all to just lock your doors, take your keys in the house, and don't leave valuable stuff in your cars, a lot of crime as a whole would go down. Now, the murders, the aggravated assaults over the last 10 years have dwindled down. Yes, ma'am.
What would you call by crime name someone who just walks in your house when you forgot to lock the back that door, walks out, doesn't do any damage, doesn't steal anything. What kind of crime heading does that go into?
They didn't do nothing but enter in.
It was reported, although this lady did not see who it was. When she looked out the window, she saw a certain person that she recognized walking down the street. He was picked up by the police, whether he was arrested or not, I don't know.
Yeah, once a person or an uninvited person comes into your residence without being invited, first of all, it's criminal trespass because they don't supposed to be there. Their intent on what they're going in there to do makes it either burglary because they're inside or robbery if they're going to take something from you as the individual. If I'm gonna run in and just grab something, like I see some jewelry or something, then that's gonna be burglary. If I'm gonna take it off of you as an individual, now you're looking at robbery.
So you think, even if you didn't do anything?
Even if you didn't do anything, at most, it should be is criminal trespassing because I know that person didn't allow them to be there and to come into the house. It's totally different once you come into a person's house. Things change. Questions?
And you may be able to answer this better. Thanks for taking the question. I'm going to go into the weeds just a little bit. So the statistics for rape, aggravated assault, maybe even some of these others that would apply. I hear the word motel come up for fights, domestic issues, rape, sadly, that have all increased. Have you noticed that any of these have been related to the more popular thing now, short-term vacation rentals that seem to be all over the city? Do you find that any of yours are targeted to, I know it's not allowed out in this district, although it's rampant all over. I think people's concerns in the past have been, oh, this has created, new problems. So I just wanted you to speak on that related to the increase in these issues here.
No, we have not noticed any crime around Airbnb types of establishments. However, if you have a concern about an address, there is public crime data accessible to all citizens at www.crimereports.com, and you can type in an address and see what's going on there. You can also call us at the police department at 643-5164 and ask us for a citizen report. We will tell you 6 months worth of crime, a quarter of a mile around any address you request. We'll do three addresses.
But to your knowledge,
No,
these increase, you've not seen anything?
we have not.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? That was a good question. Last chance?
You didn't tell us a joke tonight.
I am the joke. All right, thank you so much.